Hey guys, Robbie here. Today we're going to answer the question, are white potatoes healthy? And later on in the video, we'll answer the sub question, is there such a thing as a healthy potato chip? But first, we've got to figure out, are white potatoes even healthy? So I think there's a very common misconception out there, namely that white potatoes are unhealthy. And unfortunately, I just think this is not true. It obviously is going to depend on someone's context and goals, but in general, I think the idea is, broadly speaking, mistaken. So, in order to figure out if white potatoes are healthy, we need to go through our five good food rules. Is the food nutritious? Does it lead to a healthy blood sugar spike? Is it psychologically addictive? Does it lead to a healthy digestive system? And does it cause chronic and systemic inflammation? So let's go through those. Are white potatoes nutritious? Yes, they are. And, again, there's a common misconception out there that, oh, sweet potatoes are so much healthier than white potatoes. No, they're not. Look it up. Uh, the one place where people sometimes want to say that sweet potatoes have the edge is in their quote unquote vitamin A. Plant foods don't actually contain vitamin A. They contain a compound called beta carotene that is very poorly converted in our bodies into vitamin A. So, sweet potatoes, while they do contain a lot of beta carotene, not a lot of that is actually converted into vitamin A. And when it comes to things like potassium and manganese and what have you, potatoes and sweet potatoes are either on the same level or white potatoes actually beat them. So, from a nutrient density standpoint, it's either a dead heat or white potatoes actually edge the sweet potatoes out. So white potatoes are nutritious. Do white potatoes spike people's blood sugar? Well, they can, but as I've talked about in a previous video, it's highly individual. For some people, white potatoes are worse than sweet potatoes in terms of a blood sugar spike, but for others, it's exactly the reverse. Furthermore, there are contexts in which we want a little bit more carbohydrate, post-workout, for example, or if someone's trying to gain size and muscle. So there's nothing inherently wrong with excess carbohydrates if they're from real whole food and you're eating, meat with it and vegetables and healthy fat, all of which reduce the blood sugar spike. Furthermore, white potatoes contain something that sweet potatoes don't, namely resistant starch, that when you cook it a certain way, this resistant starch, which is a type of fiber, actually reduces the blood sugar spike that you experience. So white potatoes actually have the edge over sweet potatoes there. Are white potatoes psychologically addictive? Well, it depends. As we'll talk about with the potato chip question, they can be with French fries and potato chips. But is a baked potato addictive? Not really. Are roasted potatoes addictive? They taste good, but not really. I mean, it's going to depend on the person, but strictly speaking, I don't think if you're talking about a real whole food potato that's been cooked with olive oil, and sauteed and roasted, you're going to say it's addictive in the same way as a hash brown or a French fry. So they can be, but only in those kind of problematic preparations. Can white potatoes contribute to gut dysfunction? Well, they do contain a lot of fermentable carbohydrates that for certain people can be problematic. If someone has small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, for example, or yeast overgrowth or other things like that. But that being said, so does the sweet potato. So any knock against the white potato would similarly be a knock against plantains and sweet potatoes and other healthy carbohydrates. So I'm not sure that's the tactic someone's going to want to take if they want to say white potatoes aren't healthy. And lastly, do white potatoes contribute to chronic and systemic inflammation? Generally speaking, the answer is no, they don't. However, white potatoes, things like Yukon Gold, Red, and Russet, do contain compounds called glycoalkaloids because they are part of the nightshade family. These are natural plant insecticides to keep insects from eating the plant, and nightshades include other plants like eggplant and hot pepper and tomato. And for a certain subset of people with joint issues and autoimmunity, nightshades can be problematic. So that's maybe the one place where sweet potatoes could have the edge, but it's for an incredibly small subset of the population. And even for that subset, not everyone reacts the same. So I hope you can see overall that really there is no problem with real whole food potatoes. Again, it's going to depend on your context. If someone's, 300 pounds and has diabetes, then yeah, maybe we cut out the potatoes. But for the most part, if someone's eating a healthy diet, it shouldn't be an issue. And For example, the folks over at the Whole30 went from not including white potatoes in their Whole30 to recently including them because there really isn't an issue for most people. Now, let's end the video by talking about potato chips. While you can have potato chips these days, and you're seeing them all over a lot of grocery stores with sweet potatoes or white potatoes and coconut oil and sea salt, you can see them where they have less bad ingredients. They're going to fail that psychologically addictive criteria. So a baked potato you're going to eat and feel pretty full pretty quick, but that same amount of potato chips you're going to want to eat and eat and eat more. So I don't think there's any such thing as a healthy potato chip. There are less unhealthy kinds that you could have for a special occasion, like a football game or a gathering, the white potato and coconut oil variety. But overall, they're going to be more addictive than not, and that makes them a less healthy food. All right, guys. So hopefully now you can see that white potatoes are healthy for the most part for most people, and that there really is no such thing as a healthy potato chip. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.